Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Base Hive podcast. Today, we have an amazing founder with us. We have Dylan from Pond, who are building some amazing, Web3 AI stuff on Base. So let's deep dive into what Pond is doing. And first of all, let's deep dive into Dylan's journey. Welcome to this podcast, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Dylan, can you walk us through your, Web3 journey? You have a strong foundation in machine learning and a bit of finance as well. So how did, both of it emerge? Would love to understand more.
I think at my younger age, I was interested in exploring things, and that's the reason why you can see I have a very diversified background because at the end of the day, I feel like no matter what you do and what you want to start with, it's just a matter of few books. Later on, the time when you get your hands dirty, you can learn other things by doing. So has always been my mentality. So I was really exploring things at the time, and I feel like that's how you can come up with good ideas and good directions and different product design later on. So I knew that I was interested in building something in tech, but I didn't know what it is. And at the time when I was a student, I was interested in fintech, but I didn't. I feel like fintech is not that interesting, and even try different other things and even apply for VCs. So later on, my journey in crypto, I started from working at a central exchange as a listing manager for a few months, and later on, I feel like that is something that I can I just it's a buy side for me. So and later on, I joined an interoperability startup in San Francisco, and I started working on the tech side. And gradually, I realized actually the on-chain data has a lot of value. So people are retrieving the value from data analytics, and later on, at the time, the GPT, the OpenAI, they came out, and we realized what about we do machine learning to achieve the on-chain data value through machine learning rather than data analytics. That's basically how we started.
Amazing. Uh, Dylan, when it comes to starting any company, there's always the dilemma of the founders on which one idea that should be picked upon. I mean, everyone wants to create like a big impact, but what was your mental model when you started Pond, and when you were at that point saying no, this is what it is, that we want to go, and this is how Pond will reflect it.
Yeah, so we started from because I always have a mentality that if you at the beginning don't develop something for yourself, then it's unlikely to work out at the end, because you can only solve your own problem well with a very limited resources and help. So that's how I started. So I was in business at the time, and I always feel like finding people and build connections is very difficult for me because I don't know who in my connection knows who. So, for example, today, if I want to, find you, Pratik, and I don't know who in my connection can make referrals for us. So, because this is how we work as a society, we always rely on referrals from our friends, from our network, from our connections. So I was thinking that at the time, decentralized social was hot, and I realized actually we have so many people on chain with ENS with different DIDs, and even like DIDs were quite hot at the time. Why we don't come up with a way that we can type in someone's DID and based on the transaction histories and other on-chain activities to find who might know this person from my connection. So that was the time that when we built our first prototype and we actually launched it, and all of a sudden it has attracted 2,000 users to use that, to search for different other people's DID and find who might be able to connect with different people from their connections. So that was the time that we realized it's going to be something that's very interesting because at the end of the day we are solving a problem. It did solve the problem well for me. I used that to leverage my connections to find who knows the most investors in my connections, and I just ask for referrals. So that's how we started. And later on, we realized actually the on-chain data is not only limited to social. It also has use cases in DeFi, security, and other verticals. Then we expanded our use case from social on-chain social data or social algorithm to find the connections and make referrals to other sectors, to the DeFi and to security, which is what the pond is about today.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think referrals play a very important role, and I think it's always good to jump back, discuss ideas, get feedback, and move along. I think founders should definitely sort of enable this in their journey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming on to the pond, actually, Dylan. So I mean, the vision statement, Leo, was like pretty decent, right? Revolutionizing the way AI models are built, and how are they monetized in that particular space. Could you walk us through journey of the initial idea of Pond, the kind of feedbacks that you got, and the kind of current positioning, and how it is actually impacting all the different AI models at this current.
Yeah, so one thing that we have learned in the hard way is you definitely want to put things into the market, and it's always the case as an early stage startup. The earlier, the more difficult. It's always the case. Initially you started with nobody, and you are the only one that who can help yourself. So you will need to do your best to get a market feedback. So that's how we did. And when we initially started from training a large model on chain data. Then I started talking to other people. I was trying to get the market sentiment or the market needs around that. And I realized actually this is not what the market wants, because we don't have many AI engineers and machine learning engineers in the space. So even like we spend a lot of money training a large model in this market, nobody knows how to use it, and we have to spend a lot of money, which is very costly. So later on, we decided rather than training a large model, we want to open up our model infrastructure for the community. So that becomes our competition platform right now. The competition platform itself will use the infrastructure, and also at the same time, the community will empower the community to develop different things. So later on, rather than developing a large generalized models, we have thousands of small vertical models that can function as a large model when they are orchestrating with each other. So that was something that I have learned in the past. Is initially you probably will be afraid of putting yourself into the market and working the randomness, but this is something that you have to do. You have to get a market feedback, because everything in the startup world or in the business world has two axes. One is the vertical, another one is horizontal. So the vertical one is the tech itself, and horizontal one is about the ecosystem. So if you focus on one and take one to the extreme, so if, for example, you focus on the technical axis, then you will become an R&D project, and it doesn't have market needs. If you focus on too much of the ecosystem, it will become a group chat. So basically, that's how it works. You definitely want to balance your products or yourself out by finding a balance there. So this is the only thing that this is only achievable from getting yourself out into the market.
Makes sense. Dylan, you also mentioned previously, like addressing the cost of fully on-chain sort of model by optimizing decentralization and efficiency. What were some of the biggest technical challenges that you faced, and what was the process that enabled you to solve few of these aspects?
You mean technical challenges or business challenges, or just operational challenges in general?
Operational sort of challenges, yeah.
It's really about the people. So on one hand, you want to onboard the best people to solve problems, because for me, startup is really about a group of people. It has nothing else. You have the right people, you will have the right strategy, you will have the right product, you will have the right go-to-market, you will have right about everything. So this is something I care the most. So internally, I call myself a recruiter. I wouldn't call myself, I never enjoyed calling myself a founder, actually. So I think recruitment is my top priority. I have to do this well. How I deal with operational challenges from the team or from the go-to-market. So for the go-to-market, it's very simple and it's very brutal. You have to get yourself out, no matter what it is. You are not good at tweeting yourself. You don't have a broad audience. You just keep tweeting, and one day you will have a hot moment, and okay, so this is probably somewhere that I can do things better. And another thing is, because you always have some disagreement within the team. So someone wants to do this and someone wants to do that. I think everyone can relate, no matter it's going to be a founder or not. So my job is really to listen and make a decision. And later on, if I made a wrong decision, I can just come back and admit my fault I've made. It's a bad decision I've made. But it's always a case that a bad decision is better than no decision. So yeah, so that's I would say the top two challenges that I'm facing in terms of operations. One is the team management, and second is the go-to-market. So for the go-to-market, you just have to do it in a hard way. Just be the hard ass into different things. There's no other options. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. And Dylan, moving on to the fundraising part of it, right? I think this is like one of the most crucial phases of any startup, right? And I think there are tons of playbooks, but on ground reality is a bit of a hard, and you need to properly plan the fundraise. And I mean, there could be tons of other unknown variables that come into. First of all, would love to understand what was your fundraising journey and how did you plan about it. And part of the next question would be how would you ask the early stage founders on what specific aspects, whether it's in terms of customers, revenue, or idea, how should they be focusing on given the current 2025 scenarios.
Yeah, I think one top advice I would give is, if I were them, if I do this again by myself, rather than networking and pitching different VCs, you should really get yourself or get your product out to the market and launch it, and try to find a way to build things around and iterate on your product, and later on the money will follow. It's always the case that you need to build something. People say you have to raise at the best condition of the company, which is not wrong. So, but it's mostly for a mature business. In early stage startup, you definitely want to raise when your application is going viral. That's always the best case. Literally, when you have that, money chases you rather than you chase the money. So I think my top advice is literally another advice is, if, for example, I'm gonna repeat and I'm gonna do it again, going back to 1 year or 2 years ago, and this is something I would, just find the best way, to build things and create a demo and put it on social media. Learn from the examples that Twitter has recommendations of videos or demos every day to you to your social media stream. Check them out to see how they are doing things and what they are using, and how they are creating this demo, and try your best to do the same. And if it doesn't go viral, do it again. That's how it works. That's for how the early stage fundraising works, in my opinion. So at an early stage, I think revenue generation will be better. But investors will always think about how sustainable or how repeatable it can be. So for example, today I made $10,000 when I'm raising pre-seed. Apparently that's going to be great. Or seed stage potentially can be more. Apparently they will be great. But the thing is, are they sustainable? Can you do this again? Can you do this 10 times more? So this is something that I think people need to ask themselves. It doesn't really matter it's going to be revenue generation or something else. As long as you have shown a symbol of growth, I think that's enough for you. But the thing is, for the fundraising, you need to get yourself prepared. You need to get your product prepared. How to measure if your product is prepared or not is from the market feedback. And you can only do this through social media. That's the easiest way, or any other ways if you are building something differently. Um, but I think the TLDR version is really get the product out, trying to make it viral, publish demo videos. Don't think too much about the revenue generation. If you think that's not repeatable, focus on growth if you can. So growth, revenue, just one of all the market sentiment or market interest. That's three of them. That's one of them. If you really ace them, you can close a huge run already at that stage.
Got it.
Yeah.
Amazing advice. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan, I also wanted to have one section on the AI crypto intersection, and probably we'll start with the earlier GNN architecture that was being proposed. Now, can you explain how these they are suitable more than the traditional LLMs, and how are they brought into use cases, and what sort of feedback have you seen from the developer?
Yeah, so GNN, which is a type of deep learning for graph data, which is the data structure of on-chain data, is really something that is designed for processing on-chain data. So on-chain data, the data structure is different from language data. So language data, basically, it just someone or a model needs to figure out what's the relationship of different words, and it trains the connection of different words by assigning each word a meaning, then make predictions based on a few words, and then they can say, okay, the next word of this word is going to be that, and based on the context, it's going to give you different word prediction. So that's basically how a language model works. But in our case, for the graph model, so the graph data is a data that it has nodes and it has edge. So nodes can be in the blockchain context can be wallets and contracts, and edges are pretty much just interactions like buy-sell transfer among those nodes. So the on-chain data can be described and then represented as a graph data with graph structure. So it's kind of like airplane is designed to fly, and truck is designed to just run on the road. They are designed differently, so they have they serve different purposes and are designed for different data structures. So that's pretty much the difference. So rather than predicting next words, graph models predict behaviors based on previous behaviors of nodes and edges. Yeah.
Got it. Very interesting. I mean, would love to deep dive more on this probably at some later time, but I think the new set of thought process to deal with on and improvise more on that, I think will be definitely interesting for the crypto AI narratives to come in. One part of the next question is, I think this narrative of intersection of AI and crypto has really boomed in last, I would say, 18 to 24 months. What is the Pond's big vision over there? What is the end goal that you want to try to achieve, where builders or community or anyone associate, okay, Pond is something one of the high influential in this AI crypto space?
Yeah, I think it's not about crypto AI is buzzy. It's really about the AI in general is buzzy, and crypto AI it's more like a branch of AI. I think the end goal for us is really to be AI hub of models, agents, and something else. So AI developers, general users can all have their own AI use cases on our platform. And this literally can be a hub of AI, no matter it's going to be the application side or the pretty much just hub of applications and the use cases, and even general users can speculate and just can do different things and use different applications on our platform. So that's really about the end goal.
Got it.
Yeah.
Dylan, one last section, I think we usually cover, on base, part of it. How was, Pond's journey with base? And, I mean, what were, like couple of, good points that you felt, having, base as one of the partners ecosystem, for growing Pond?
Yeah, I think Base team is great. They are very supportive. That's the reason why we can have today's meeting. Yeah, I think they are great. So my journey with Base is, because Base has the diversity of ecosystem. It's not unlimited to DeFi or AI. It's pretty much like whatever the use cases in crypto, we can always find them on Base. So as a project, you definitely rely on different ecosystems and look for different diversities and make sure the ecosystem has sufficient liquidity for you to do the secondary market. And this is what Base provides. And also, apart from the technical support, they also have a substantial amount of business support as well, to help you to grow. So I think as the ecosystem, you cannot find a better one.
Got it.
Yeah.
Dylan, last, questions, like if you were to building now, or what would be your couple of ideas that you feel could really fly in 2025, given the current market scenarios?
I think, are we talking about applications or infrastructure or something that you feel like is outside of crypto?
Probably applications, yeah.
I think one thing that I really want to do is find a way that how we can apply machine learning to analyze all the Twitter data combined with the on-chain behaviors all together. So later on, rather than you going through different tweets, or you check with different on-chain sentiment, or you have predictions of different models in different ways, it literally can be something that you can just sit down and use a terminal, and you will be able to see what's going on in the market and what is going to be the potential signal of different things for you to do. I think this is really something that can be really cool. And I would say, and also I'm really interested in seeing what things that can be built that can bridge Web 2 and Web 3. I don't have a better idea right now, but will be very interested to see something happen there.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Dylan, for joining this podcast and walking us through the journey of Pond, and also sharing, a lot of early interesting details, which I feel would be very, very helpful for young builders, who are building here. And we wish the best for Pond, and hopefully we'll, do much more deep technical, deep dive sessions into a lot of, different architectural things of Pond. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Thank you so much, for your time as well. And also to the audience.